All right. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today at American Canadian School of Medicine. I am here with the Honorable and extreme fun Dean Ahmadi today, who's going to give us some very valuable information about what sets ACSOM apart. So thank you for being here, Dean Ahmadi. We appreciate your time.
My pleasure.
All right, so let's start at the beginning. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and journey that led you to become the Dean of American Canadian School of Medicine?
Of course, I was initially trained as an internist. I went to medical school at Medical College of Wisconsin. I did my residency training at Yale, got a Master of Public Health degree at Yale as well. My initial interest was medical education and also in terms of global health and I had an interest in humanitarian emergencies. That's my specialty at School of Public Health at Yale was global health. That was the area that I got my master's degree in. So all of my career, I have done either medical education or participation in some of the humanitarian emergencies and global health programs. I started as the associate residency program director for internal medicine for one of the Yale affiliated residency programs at Griffin Hospital for years. And then beyond that, I was sort of the DIO or the chief academic officer, if you will, for a group of hospitals in Western Connecticut. That is where I, with the help of the deans from both Ross as well as University of Vermont School of Medicine, I built a campus in Western Connecticut, clinical campus for their medical students. So those are my medical education experiences that relate to today's work, because at some point with some of our Yale colleagues and others, we decided to create a model medical school where we have a curriculum that is modern. Even though it's an international medical school, we do model ourselves after the curriculum of schools such as Yale or Penn State, and we try to be different from other Caribbean schools.
Great, thank you so much for that. How do you envision your leadership impacting the future of American Canadian School of Medicine and its students, given your background and expertise?
Well, curriculum certainly is shaped differently. It's very student-centered. We have flipped classroom approach, small group teaching, and that is essentially our entire curriculum. It's not just like many international schools will try to say we have this approach, but it's just once in a while sort of thing that happens. But for us, that is how we deliver our curriculum, and that has been my insistence on not compromising the modern approach. The modern approach says that having a big auditorium and putting all of your students in that auditorium and having somebody flip the PowerPoint slides at them is not an effective way to teach. So we know that. We have known that for many years. It took a long time for our medical school community in the United States to change. And now they have. Majority no longer rely on that kind of auditorium, big sort of lecture-based approach to teaching and learning. We have a small group of students, 8 to 10 students assigned to one MD faculty who works with them, teaching them essentially through interacting with a clinical case and going over the details of that clinical case. And once the objectives have been met, they go to the next case and to the next case. And that's how the learning here takes place. Now, the night before the student has pre-works, they have recorded videos, they have animations, they have various resources that have been organized and designed for them. And by the way, it has been organized and very well designed. They do not have to search and look for things to prepare themselves. So you know exactly as a medical student that Sunday night, preparing for the next Monday, you have to do the following: 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's going to take about 3 hours of your time. And then the next day you come to the school prepared to deal with in your small group effectively, learning what you have to learn as the objectives of the day. This goes on for the first 2 years of the school, and this is one of the ways I think that my participation, as well as my colleagues, Dr. Wong from Penn State and other Yale colleagues, has affected this curriculum. The other important factor is that on the clinical side, we have a global health program and a global health elective that is almost a required global health elective where we want our students to be exposed to global health and to participate in our global health program and develop an appreciation for the patients, for underserved patients, and also for other systems, health systems, and problems that the rest of the world deals with outside of the North America. So that's that. In those two ways, I think our curriculum and our medical school is very unique.
Great. And you mentioned global health. The campus itself is on the beautiful island of Dominica. How does the setting itself affect the curriculum or benefit the educational experience?
During the second year of our program, we have 12 weeks of community medicine. During these 12 weeks, students learn about public health, biostatistics, epidemiology, chronic disease epidemiology, research methodology. But most importantly, they work with a group of faculty that are very well embedded in the community and have organized for them research community-based participatory research projects. And they then go to the community, implement their project, collect the data, and then present it. It's like a capstone project, except that it's a community medicine one. And in these 12 weeks, they get to learn a lot about their local community here in Dominica. They get to learn about the minorities, the tribes, and how the life is and what are the health problems of the community. They learn how to do a proper and formal health assessment. They learn how to collect data, how to organize their data, how to analyze their data, and most importantly, perhaps most importantly, how to communicate that data to others, how to present it, and how to publish it. So that's also part of their first 2 years training, and it takes place mainly after the January of the second year for those who start in August.
Okay, excellent. And you mentioned the experience of some of the faculty. Can you go into more details as far as the MD professors and their background itself?
Sure. All of our faculty, perhaps at the moment, exception of one, are MD faculty. We do have a PhD basic scientist as well too, that specializes in teaching that part of the curriculum we call Foundations of Medicine, where a lot of molecular biology and genetics is done. But our MD faculty really does the foundations as well as all the other parts of the curriculum, and they are physicians with different subspecialties. There's some pediatricians, some family medicine, some internal medicine, neurologists. We have neurosurgeon, we have endocrinologist, we have an obstetric gynecologist. So we have a really a very diverse group of faculty with diverse clinical experiences. And what is common about all of them is that they all have participated in almost 6 months minimum of faculty development program by us. In our faculty development program, all of our faculty does an online course first on faculty development with Johns Hopkins, which focuses on curriculum development. So they all learn the principles of the curriculum development, and they of course will apply it to develop some part of the curriculum or work on revising part of the existing curriculum, because our curriculum is also continuously being updated and revised like any other good medical school. The science is and scientific data is continuously giving us new knowledge, and that new knowledge has to be continuously integrated into a good medical school curriculum. So they all learn that. And then they all have faculty development workshops that are very similar in content to the Stanford faculty development program. This is done by Dr. Jeff Wong, who is one of the very well-known and nationally renowned and respected faculty development leaders of the United States. Dr. Wong spends significant time here with our faculty, both in the island in person in those workshops, and also in terms of continuous interaction and development of the faculty on a weekly basis with online meetings. So the faculty has roughly about 6 months, 6 to 9 months, depends on each faculty. Some of the faculty we have now have been developed and been in faculty development with us for more than 2 years. And then during their development, the faculty will practice and take a leading role in small group discussions, teaching, and they're observed, and then they're given feedback. And over time, we do this until a faculty feels completely comfortable taking the leadership role for a group of 8 to 10 students. And then, and that's when they will be assigned to 8 to 10 students. And then that faculty stays with that group for most part during the first 2 years of education of the students. And even when the student leaves us and goes to one of our clinical campuses, whether they're in Los Angeles or Florida or Connecticut, whether they're in the East Coast or West Coast, makes no difference. They're still going to be mentored and followed by this faculty, because we have, again, through our Canvas material to deliver online to them during their clinical years, and for mentorship, for advice, for help, particularly for their step 2, they will always be monitored and reported on by the same faculty member all the way to their graduation. We hope that even after they graduate and they go to clinical practice, they stay in touch as alumni. We hope that they would still maintain the friendship with the faculty that trained them and started them on their professional path. We want to build these medical education bridges, and we want to make very strong connections so that the students, our graduates, will always remember their faculty and our school fondly.
Great, thank you. And you mentioned the USMLE. Can you tell us about any measures or resources in place to ensure students are well prepared for the USMLE?
Of course. Our curriculum is designed partly around preparing the students to pass their step 1. The basic science curriculum is very much focused on step 1 preparation. The content of the first 2 years are good basic science content that the clinician should know. We don't teach for the exam, so to speak, um, meaning that we don't just review a bunch of multiple choice questions. Um, the student has to develop a proper basic science background with the, again, appropriate amount of details and scope that prepares them to be a good clinician. We do that, but we also spend time and we have resources for step one. Uh, One of those resources that has been integrated into the curriculum is called TrueLearn. TrueLearn is there have been good studies showing how effective TrueLearn is in preparing students for step one, um, and TrueLearn is part of their Canvas and part of their weekly evaluations and exams, as well as part of their final evaluation after a module is completed. These evaluations and multiple choice questions that are done with them gives us a database on individual students' performances over the course of about a year and a half. Um, Once they have been with us for about a year and a half, we have a pretty significant database on individual student that tells us which parts of those basic science areas they performed very well, is their area of strength, and which part they perhaps need improvement. And that's when we come in to develop a board prep course for that individual student and a study plan that targets exactly the areas that the data is telling us the student needs. And so their board preparation time with us has two parts. It starts during the community medicine phase, and it goes on until they pass the step one. And it has two parts. One that has to do with the individual student's data that suggests those areas need to be worked on, and we have essentially a program that delivers that particular area. And then there is a general prep course that we give them, similar to what Kaplan or UWorld has, that prepares them for step one. We use the program that has the highest correlation with passing of the step one board exam, and that ensure that our student, this particular approach, in my opinion, will ensure that our student will pass their step one 100%. We don't have any data on that right now. We're just a brand new medical school, but our very first set of data in 2 years will tell us what are the strengths of our approach, what are the weaknesses of our approach, what do we have to modify, what do we have to change in order to improve the quality of our medical education. We have in place a quality improvement program. We have a dedicated quality improvement officer that collects the data for us. So we do have already designed cycles of quality improvement to make sure we address any gaps or weaknesses in the curriculum.
Excellent, thank you. How does ACSOM integrate technology and modern teaching methods into its curriculum?
Well, one of the ways that we do that is through our Canvas, where we bring some of the best educational software to our students. All of that we have gathered and designed and organized together gets downloaded into the student's iPad on day one and given to them for the next 4 years to benefit from and to have at their fingertips wherever they are. So that's one way that technology works for us. One of the other innovative pieces of technology we use is called Cyber Patient. Cyber Patient was designed by our Canadian colleagues and by the faculty from the Canadian side, who have designed this state-of-art virtual reality virtual patient essentially program. This program allows us to give our students a panel of patients from the very first weeks of their medical education to work with. This they learn how to take history, how to counseling, how to examine. There is a whole interesting space that you enter, and in that space you interact with virtual patients and you manage them. This is in addition to, of course, the standardized patient program that they have on the ground. Combination of this technology and the standardized patient prepares the students for their clinical experience, which they also start after at some point during their first year again, and then and continues, of course, to their clinical years.
Excellent. Well, Dr. Ahmadi, you have been very gracious with your time. We really appreciate you. Are there any final words, anything else you would like to impart on the audience?
Well, we love to show you what we have here on the island. We have a modern medical school. We have a very high quality medical education program. We believe that we have the strongest international medical school program currently available. So we invite you to come and join us. We invite you to come and visit us and see for yourself. And I look forward to seeing all of you students who are interested in us here on the island.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Of course, my pleasure, Maria.